tuned in on another Tuesday. Got Jason Winegeart, armchair philosopher, with me tonight. It's Ken. And Danny, he'll be in and out of the show while he does whatever he's doing.
What up, what up?
There you go. Awesome. Dude, I like this song, but the build-up takes a really long time. We're still sort of in it
Yeah,
right now. You know what I'm saying?
it's like a little too ambient.
Yeah, because then it gets pretty. Now. I think it's pretty cool. Like we're waiting.
Yeah, I'm getting into it.
What?
There we go.
Oh, he's here. Yes, indeed. Alright, let's turn that off. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna post a link to that track after the show. Alright, cool. Jason,
What's
tell
up?
us what's up. Where you from, man?
I'm born and raised Jacksonville, Florida. Still in here. Work here. Grew up here. Went to school here. Not much changed.
Have you traveled much outside of Jacksonville ever?
I've been all up and down Florida. Been Tennessee, Nevada, California, a couple other places. Not traveling all over the U.S., but I've hit a couple key places.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's it like growing up in Jacksonville?
It's interesting. Having people come travel here or work here, see a bunch of influx of basically Jacksonville getting bigger. I grew up at the beaches, and back then, a lot of neighborhoods that exist now were just woods. And it's pretty incredible to see it all basically bulldozed, and you see a bunch of neighborhoods, apartments turn into condos. Everything
Wait,
kind of
apartments turn into condos.
Yeah, actually, I grew up in an apartment complex that was like a
Wait,
block
what's the
from the beach.
difference?
Huh?
What's the difference?
Well, they can charge you a
Apartments
higher
turning into
price.
Oh, because they're in a part of an association or something?
Is there a condo? They moved from apartments to condos, quote unquote, officially. So
What
they can
is
charge
that?
a
Is the
premium for
difference,
selling
though?
the
Is
Is
that
that
space.
just
does
a better
that
way
mean?
of paying an apartment, or is a condo more of like an apartment? that
Oh, you know
buy?
who we could ask? The people. Hey, people that are listening. Sorry, future people listening to the archive podcast, but the live people, call us. 904-638-5119. 904-638-5119. And tell us. Give us the answer.
The difference between an apartment
Condo
and
and an apartment. I mean, we could probably use technology and just look at that shit up.
Well, think of it this way: what do you do with an apartment?
I
Do
don't
you pay
know. I
rent
thought
or
a
you pay
condo you
mortgage?
buy is that's the only
Yeah, I
difference.
feel like, yeah,
is that
I
a
feel
like-
condo you can buy, an apartment is one you rent.
Right.
But otherwise, it's the same thing.
I mean, living space, yeah. Unless they knock down some walls.
But then you have an
combine some roofs.
association and stuff because you're all living in a little hive, you know. I guess we are all sort of living in a little hive, a human hive.
Wow, that was deep.
These cities, man, they're human hives. I wonder if an alien would look at us and think it's complex, or if it's like a meandering crap hole of stuff going on.
Depending on where he was at.
Or just think it was cute.
Yeah, I don't know. Like us looking at ants, you know, like I've
Like
saw
we
a
respect ants. We're like, oh, they do a lot of cool shit.
Yeah,
We
like,
do it,
whoa.
but at the same time,
look at those
it's like,
idiots. Look
yeah.
how smart those idiots are. You know, like because ants, you don't think of an ant individually as very intelligent, right? But yet there's intricate pathways, and they protect the queen. They all have a shared goal. They obviously communicate somehow. 'Cause
They
how
do.
the fuck? How
There
are you
are-
supposed to know that the alarm's on?
There are some ants that actually go and retrieve fallen comrades and bring them back to the hill.
That's crazy.
That's kind of cool.
All right, see? And then we're like, dude, that's so cool. You know why? Because they're ants and they're dumb. right?
Yeah.
So what if someone was doing that to us?
So
Do
you
you
already
feel-
lost a viewer.
Do you feel like an ant would be like compassionate, like charging out on the battlefield, like?
I don't know.
emotional?
I wonder if there's emotions that we're unaware of that the let's say future alien thingies that are so far advanced compared to us would look at us and say, haha, look at that. They even look like they're exhibiting some thing.
Primitive form of emotion.
Yeah, look at those dummies.
What, like some Star Trek thing? Like the aliens have
I
a
don't
prime
know.
directive?
I'm just look. I'm just philosophizing. Man. It's not really if aliens really, though Bronus believes that for sure has
they?
happened.
Oh yeah.
Been
See,
abducted?
No.
Like
would you want to be abducted? I think you would.
It depends. Do I know what the induction entails?
You probably don't. You would undergo anal probe.
To see
right.
an alien? Maybe.
Yeah. See, I think if you knew it went up to and included anal probe,
Yeah,
that
but
you
it was
would probably do it. But if it included mutilation, you wouldn't.
Oh.
But what?
Oh, by the way, viewers out there, you can get on the chat stream and chat us up live on the chat stream. And
Can we see the chat?
yeah, we'll see the chat. So, oh yeah, let's look at the chat. Maybe we'll do that.
Wouldn't that be the worst? Like
Empire Kyle.
getting abducted
that's
and trying
Kyle.
to convince.
You can
somebody-
own a condo, you can only rent an apartment. 8 minutes ago, we had this answer.
And we already covered it. Naturally.
Well, yeah. Oh, by the way, Nike's part of the show. So when he's drinking, we all should be drinking.
Yeah, it's
It's a drinking game. And
social
you keep
Nike.
drinking until he's done. If you die because you actually do this game, I am not responsible. Please do not.
I ran out of beer.
Disclosure.
Yeah. Please do not
Nike's going hard
associate
over
me with that necessarily because it was a joke.
But going back to the alien thing, anal probe is obviously a human construct. What if they like make a whole new hole for you?
What would the whole
Whoa,
do?
but that's mutilation now.
No, but
Indigenous
logically
to
thinking, if you
the
were going to
alien.
shove things into another, if you just saw a human being, you never knew what it looked like. I think the ass would definitely be one. The mouth would be one.
Whoa,
right? The ears
whoa.
and the nose.
If you saw a new animal that you've never seen before, is your first instinct to
No.
stick something up its ass?
no, that's not.
I don't get it.
What yours isn't?
Not really. I mean, I guess down the line. I mean,
That's like step 2 for me.
it's like
First I introduce myself.
how much more do we need to explore?
Bronus has a
hopefully-
little more foreplay involved when you see something
You know,
new.
especially while they're alive. Why would you need a probe up the anus while they're alive? But I guess I don't know.
Maybe it.
But think about what we do to animals. We do shit like that to animals all the time. We stick shit up their asses or
For temperature.
whatever.
Turkeys.
Temperature, yeah.
Maybe they're just getting our temperature.
And fucking radio transmitters and shit.
You talking about sharks?
Anything. I mean, yeah, animals too. Hey, do you want some wine or a beer? Listeners out there, you should grab a wine or beer and philosophize. Beer. You want to do the wine? I'll drink wine with you if you want to drink that one.
I'm drinking beer.
Anyway, wine?
Broseph wants wine.
Yeah.
I'll drink with Bronus. Wine.
You want wine?
Yeah.
He wants
And if that
Oh, sorry, listeners.
one of
out
those
there.
listeners is my girlfriend, I didn't mean that about anal probes.
Whatever. She knows your dedication.
Oh, she does.
She
Yeah.
knows that the anal probe would just be a sacrifice that you would make. But mutilation.
Hey,
is-
for the greater good of mankind, you get a deeper understanding of the outside world.
It's almost worth 2 of them.
Maybe she got
Alright,
some
see.
ideas.
through 2 anuses.
Now it's just going a little too far.
If they could graft a new anus on you, like those with
Bronus, are
alien
you
That's
familiar
just
with the
twice
term
would you
the
do
"fool me
that?
once"?
What?
Familiar with the term "fool me once"?
Fool me once?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 anal probes, fool me twice, shame on you.
Silly. Silly.
Yeah, I sometimes just wander out in the field in the middle of the night, just hoping that something comes over and abducts me and
You're a field wanderer?
alien probes me.
He's one of those guys that wanders around in fields.
I can't say that I haven't looked up at the sky and been like, I'm ready. Come and take me.
What side do you present?
Excellent.
Listeners out there, we'd like to know your answer. We're just saying.
That got a little out of hand.
You know what they want, apparently. All right, Jason, tell us about. All right, so you told me to introduce you as an armchair philosopher. Tell us about you and philosophy.
That's a broad start.
Was there
Me
a connection somehow?
Well, there's a connection.
Or you just
I
like
mean,
to philosophize?
yeah. So, been studying philosophy since high school. Kind of going through it. Got a rudimentary introduction in high school, and kind of explored it further in college. It was kind of my not sure degree in college, as I figured out exactly what I wanted to go ahead and push myself into. So I ended up. I didn't see the need to take a lot of introductory classes, so I ended up taking a lot of upper level classes right off the bat. And eventually, as I progressed through college, I ended up accidentally earning a minor, just by virtue of how many credits I had in the subject. So I went.
You enjoyed the classes?
I suppose you could put it that way. I didn't enjoy the
I mean, you
people.
didn't need
though.
those credits in those spots, right?
No,
Unless you were shooting.
they
for a
turned
minor.
into electives at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But
Oh, okay.
you could put them
You just
credit
rack 'em
towards a minor. I walked into
No offense, man.
the guidance counselor's office and kind of trying to process graduation, everything like that. You know, kind of like your final rites in college. And they're like, you know, you earned a minor, right? And I'm like, seriously? And they're like, yeah, you get a philosophy minor. And I'm like, do I have to do anything else? And they're like, no, we'll just give it to you. And I'm like, well, sign me up.
Sound yeah.
Some further degree of credibility for formative years in college.
You said you didn't like the people.
No, they're awful.
What about them?
They're terrible people. Oh, when you do a philosophy class, oftentimes you see a lot of blowhards who take really hardline stances. And with those hardline stances, they think they're smarter than everyone else in the room.
Like what?
Well, it's like they can't be refuted. So if they're not going to be refuted, there's no point in arguing with them. It's a waste of time. It's an exercise
Why
in
can't they
futility.
be refuted?
Huh?
Because sometimes a lot of
You
people
can't
just talk in circles
refuse.
when it comes up.
Right. They talk in circles. They try
Like,
to
it's
point the
something
circle
that-
as a definitive answer, and you're like, we're not really getting anywhere here. Do you want to like progress the point? And it just doesn't happen. And all of a sudden, all they hear is, I'm gonna go to www.imrightfucking.com and spread their ignorance.
Is that a place?
It might be.
I'm not gonna look.
I never actually checked.
Virus trap. Fuck that.
So you got into a lot of debates.
Well, no, that's the
He's a
point. I didn't get into as
master
many debates as I
debater.
wanted to because people wouldn't argue correctly.
And he took the Socrates out, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
true G right there.
That's Socrates is
Can't
out. I
blast the
don't know.
master.
But that's his, like, he's just admitting that he doesn't know. You know, we don't know.
Do we know?
You don't. I don't.
No what?
Anything.
Yeah, do you know? What is to know something? Like, you
Ow,
know?
wow. Wait, what do you?
Hey,
are you
what
guys
does philosophy
talking about?
actually mean? Like, what does the word mean?
Oh, I don't know.
It means the
It's-
love of knowledge.
Sure. Knowledge of what? What is that? I mean, some of this shit's like everything that we're it's looking at is a computer simulation. Like
What?
It's the Matrix.
Well,
Yeah, did you
it's
just like broadly go over the Matrix and insert that as
You
philosophy?
did step into that line for
Yeah,
sure.
hold on. I mean, there is. I mean, borderline like solipsism almost, right? Those guys, the solipsists or whoever those guys. are.
Stoicism?
Yeah, no, not stoicism.
What word are you trying to use?
Solipsists.
Solipsis.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I'm talking
If
about.
you're-
where
if you're listening
where
right
the
now,
world
Give that a Google
is
search for
born
us.
only of your mind. Like you guys are all figments of my mind. Everything in around me is figments of my mind. I'm the only one that exists. But that's the same for all of you too.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Does it?
Well, yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, so is that knowledge? Did we know for sure? Is that the case? Can we prove that it is or is not the case?
Exactly. So is that knowledge or is that theory?
I don't know.
It's the first thing
Theory.
you learn in philosophy is like what is to know. Like, it's like one of the.
Oh, well, then what is it, Danny?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
those are
That's part of
stupid
it. It's
bullshit
about,
questions they show to freshmen. What is it to know? You take some very basic principle and they try to make you distill it into a finer essence, and you really find out there's no way the language can actually distill it into a finer message. And so all of a sudden you leave with your mind supposedly blown, but you actually left the classroom knowing just as much as what you did when you came in. They just inserted a bunch of words and tried to make you go through a thinking exercise, but you didn't really gain anything of value in there.
So at what point do you gain value?
When they actually go over theories and independent thought. Not trying to expound on, like, what does the mean? What do you mean, what the fuck does the mean? It means the, it's a thing, it's sentence structure. The noun. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah,
You
I don't
try
know.
to
I don't
explore
know if
after
Flint was
the
getting
noun.
all philosophical on us.
That's what I was here for,
Definition
right?
of is right. Philosophers. No, go ahead,
Kyle
sorry.
checked on I'mFuckingRight.com and he found out it's not a thing.
Oh, make it, dude, right now. Boom.
Yeah, $1 million
Grab the
idea.
URL and then make people pay to use it.
Make it redirect to narcissist.com.
All right, so give us an example of the circular logic thing. Not logic, but like the argument. Like, what's an example of that for our listeners?
The circular argument is essentially presenting a premise, going over
Like
the
one
premise.
of those challenging points that you were talking about where the people were like pain in
Well,
the ass.
You have a premise to an argument. That's
Yeah.
why you present the argument. You think that is the solution. That's the premise. Let's explore it a little bit further. And so you go through the argument trying to prove the premise, or I guess you could say thesis. You can almost substitute whatever you're more comfortable with. And when someone brings up something that may disrupt your straight line to the answer, you redirect the answer around to your premise again.
Oh.
like you shape it. Like, oh yeah, there's something wrong with that. This is, and then you're like,
Oh,
well,
I bet you run
really.
it. Well, that's like the religion thing, isn't it?
Well, not exactly.
Well, it feels like it would be an example of it, where I could say, well, how do you know the flood happened, or how do you know these things happened? Oh, well, this book told me this. So, like, how do you know that's true? Well, because everything that it says.
Well,
is
yeah,
right.
if you're going off of historical principles that people are putting in a book, purporting as true.
I'm just saying, but that, like, they always revert back to the premise.
Yeah.
Like, well, how do you know your premise is right?
Yeah.
Well, because I look at the things that the premise said. Like, well, how do you know those are right? Well, because look at the premise told us, and it exists.
You've grasped the concept completely.
I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, you can't do that.
It's a little bit different for me, and I don't take that as a legit example. I mean, I can see when people do that. People do that. That's totally
You said
right.
do.
People do give those examples. But I'm a believer. I believe in a higher power. But I
okay,
don't
gotcha.
take the lessons and stories as extremely literal.
Sure, man.
So I won't go direct back to, are you really sure? Like, what if this did happen though? Like, you don't talk about that. You talk about the lesson of what was brought up there and kind of try to guide your own moral compass in a way.
Gotcha.
It's less annoying.
What's the most frustrating argument you've ever gotten into?
I'm not really sure.
Have you gotten into a lot of frustrating arguments
Yeah.
in philosophy minor?
Oh, no. After a while, you choose not to participate.
You know, one of my favorite classes, and I would totally do what you did in college, and I was tempted, but I forced myself not to, would be to follow the philosophy path, because one of my favorite classes ever was called Contemporary Moral Issues, and it was just talking about things that are going on right now, right? Like, for the first thing that we tackled was whether it was morally acceptable to eat meat if you don't have to. You know what I mean? So if you can find all the proteins that you need to live, then that means the only reason why you want to eat meat is because you like how it tastes. So is it right to kill another animal? Well, that's part of another argument, but
Right.
is it right to kill another living being, for instance, just because you like its taste? A being known to feel, pain or whatever. Because you could argue about, well, now you're killing a plant, which is, a living
Yeah.
being as well.
The plant's a living thing. You could also bring in a population control issue. You only have a finite amount of space. Maybe it is better at the end of the day if you like something for the taste of it to kill it.
To create it, to mass produce life simply for the taste, as opposed to the need. If you don't need it, you don't have the resource to maintain it, because it uses up much more resources than planting something, right? And so there's no real reason, unless someone tells some biological reason why you need it, absolutely, even though there are civilizations that are been pretty much vegetarian forever, right? And there's athletes and all sorts of folks that are vegetarian. Anyway, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not pushing it, but I'm just saying that was a philosophical argument. So to say that you need it, it's a necessity of life, is sort of, in a way, proven false by the existence of people that don't eat meat and live to be longer lived, or just as long lived as anyone else.
Sure, but think about it this way. How much more effort is it to get those nutrients in plants than in just killing one thing?
It's a lot more effort. If you look at all of the feed that has to go into it, and the nurturing, and the raising, and all of those things, the breeding programs,
my point
and all of those things, the grocery source is much higher for meat than vegetable.
No, my point
that's a
was
direct
how many more vegetables, or how much more volume of, say, vegetables to get all of the nutrients you would get something in a naturally occurring being, like, say, a cow or something like that. They still naturally occur. They naturally reproduce. Just because we have found a way to make the process more efficient in a way, and to provide a source for a larger, much exponentially larger population than before, which one takes real effort on the part of the person consuming?
Well, that's part of the argument. I mean, you are taking a living being and treating it as if it's machinery for your consumption. Is that morally correct to do?
Depends on your social contracts.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, how do you argue that?
Well, you find out what's necessary within your social contracts.
So what's our social construct?
Well, there's different cultures. Each one's got a little bit of a different one.
I'm in America. I'm having a conversation in philosophy class. What's the social and moral construct?
Well, the beautiful thing about America is each person can.
But
be
that's the
different if
thing
they
that
want
we
to.
were arguing. That was
Right.
the first thing. Here we are automatically arguing it, right? And I don't really. Like I said, I'm not vegetarian.
Right, you don't
Here I am
have-
simply arguing the vegetarian point as if I am, but because that's just fun, and that's why I love philosophy class. But that was our first one. Dude, it got so heated. It's like all these diehard Mormon folk, which is, whatever, believe whatever you want.
It's because you won't
And
find.
we'd be arguing, and they would like cry and yell and scream, and those were frustrating. And then that was just meat. That was a consumption of meat. Then we went.
Oh, don't go over birth control then.
No, we went to Is There a God?
Oh yeah, that one's classic.
That was like, Jesus. It was so cliche.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was interesting to argue. But then the most fun was that we broke up into groups, and we had to pick out of a hat whatever we had to argue, no matter what. I remember I was pro euthanasia, and that
That's
was
a
just
fun
what
one.
I pulled. And I was like, I'll argue either way. I didn't really think about it much back then. And so I was like, I'm pro euthanasia, so I'll just do whatever I can think of, right? So I do this big, not really big, just this pretty quick explanation of why I thought it was, I was pro euthanasia, and I had to argue against this other guy. And in the end, he came up to me. He's like, "Man, thanks for arguing with me on that." And you know, I might have lost, like, cause he felt like he lost the argument, and so he came up to me. He's like, "Thank you," and stuff. Cause I thought he was gonna be mad, actually.
Right.
And he said he chose to let his grandmother go just the summer before.
Wow.
Yeah, and he came up and thanked me for.
Giving him some peace of mind.
Well, yeah, he's like, "Man, you made me feel better because I chose out of this random chance the anti-euthanasia, and he had just,
Wow.
you know, I guess
That's a beautiful thing that we call the human condition.
You know, and it's like, what do you do when if you're really faced with that dilemma? You know, it's or especially if someone says, you know, they have to sign those DNRs or whatever.
Wait, what?
Do not revive.
Do not resuscitate
DNRs,
or
do not
whatever, and
resuscitate.
they just let them go. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. What it'd be like? What if they don't know if you're conscious? What if you're conscious, and you can't move anything? You can't communicate, can't do anything.
But your brain still works.
Yeah,
Do you want to be kept alive?
I think I would go crazy.
I think anybody would break eventually.
You would break
You
down.
have to.
Well,
break
would
it.
you be
I was
cursed
just- dude, I
to a situation where perpetual consciousness, or would you fade in and out?
Oh, you would fade in and out to the point where you don't really know. I bet.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's
Well,
going
if you
on?
fade in and out to the point where you don't really know, why is there some kind of angst? Why would it drive you crazy?
Because
if you're fading in and out, you're either fading to black or you're fading into a dream world. At some point, when you're like, if you like come to and realize that you're doing it, you soon will learn to control your own mind and create your own constructs in your
No,
brain
you
and be
will.
interrupted.
Listen to this. 99% of the time, you can fade out and like meditate and just get away and just maybe not think that you're prayers, but that 1% of time that you might break back into the real world. That how
Hell.
intense would that be? Like
Hell.
how would you be able to handle that?
Yeah.
No one would be able to. Like anxiety attack in a coma.
Dude, I just saw this thing about sensory deprivation and how people are, more or less sensory complete, not quite complete sensory deprivation, but massive sensory deprivation, like kept in the dark on for months,
Right.
where you can't see anything. Kept
Socrates,
alone.
the cave.
Right,
Look it
just
up.
completely without human contact, and so people have been tortured this way.
Have you ever heard
And
of the cave?
they go crazy. They start hearing things. Their mind goes crazy because they can't tell if it's light.
They're feral.
They can't tell if it's dark. They can't tell anything. They pace like animals do.
They're feral.
Yeah,
They're
it
literally
becomes-
feral. They're not domesticated.
It
We're
becomes
domesticated.
crazy. They become crazy. I mean, and that's the thing. What if they at least get to move around and sense something. You bump into a wall or something, they can still do things. But what if you could do nothing? These guys are already going crazy. If you could do nothing,
Well,
you would be in another place. I don't even know. You would have gone through so much craziness.
let's think about the situation. Are you in a situation where you've never been able to feel, or
No,
have you
you
been able to
have been
feel
able.
and then it's been
Yes.
ripped away from you?
Yeah, like you were in a coma.
Well, say if you were in a coma, you wouldn't really be conscious. Your brain would be working, but it would probably be in a dream state or either just total blackness.
how do we know?
In which case, if it's total
Yeah.
blackness, you'd have no angst because it's a state of nothing. But if you were like in a dream state and such, you still know what touching feels like because it's happened to you before. So you could reasonably bring it back up in your mind and make it a thing again. So I really don't think you would have that much angst. Sure, yeah, you're in a coma, that's a reality. But if you end up waking up, suddenly you're not in a coma anymore.
Yeah, but
So
dude,
where's the angst here?
You can fake
If
the
you,
shit out
what
of
if
it.
you remember where you came from in the coma?
What do you mean?
Like life.
What?
Like, are we saying you're in this dark place, and you're asking where the angst is?
What, like if your dream creates this dark place?
Like for the observer, for the person inside.
Yeah, for the person inside.
Don't you know that like you're there's a problem?
Not
And
necessarily.
I feel like that's where the angst would come from. Is
If
that
you-
know that you're missing, like there's something wrong.
If you come to some Inception level existential angst situation within a coma, let me know. Because I've
thing, you
never
can't let
seen that
anyone
kind of
know
Hey,
situation.
what if they're
That would
killing
make you
people
go
right now?
nuts, man. Wouldn't it make you go nuts? Like, oh, now I know exactly
don't
what we're talking
believe
about,
there would be-
but I can't tell anybody.
Reasonably, I don't think there would be any kind of existential angst inside a dream state, because if you're at a level where you can realize there's like something happened to you, you can probably reasonably create your own world for the time being.
Yeah, I think you'd have to. I think you'd be forced to.
Yeah. You
It'd
need
just
to
be an
deal somehow.
An
And there would be a
inevitable.
new reality anyway.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Now you've lost it.
now
Well,
you've
you're
lost
in
the
another
argument.
reality. You aren't really sure what's happening, but you're creating it as you go. You're still comfortable because you're the one creating it.
How do you know that's not happening right now?
Now, see, that's like the high school level question someone asks where someone's having a,
That's the thing.
bro, what if we're all aliens? Like,
We're
It's like-
all what?
aliens.
Not
Yeah,
that.
I couldn't stand that question. But I think that was a good question. What if that is happening right now? I think that is a good question. You know, what if this reality is a coma reality and you're in a coma to your other reality? You just
Well,
don't-
see, at that point, you're just in absurdism. Is it a possibility? Sure. Is there any way we can figure it out? No.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can test it?
It's like there's
No.
a hot dog stand
Yeah.
on the dark side of the moon.
Right.
But is there a way?
Could
do you
be.
think we're ever going to figure it out?
That was a pretty deep question.
I mean,
Wait, what? Figure out whether this is real or not?
well, I mean, it's like
I bet it's pretty fucking real.
Yeah, that was probably the deepest question of the night. No, you won't. Just by objectively looking at what that state would be, how would you ever reasonably test whether it's real or not? You can't.
Yeah. Anybody out there can call in and talk about it. 904-638-5119.
Do you think
Shameless
Leonardo
plug.
DiCaprio thought it was real? You know, Inception.
Why did the top never stop spinning
Why
at the
didn't-
end?
Exactly. See, that's what we're getting into right now. If Leonardo DiCaprio can do it, man, anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it.
He was in Titanic.
Instant credibility.
Most sold movie ever.
Really?
Box office.
Yeah.
Inception?
Ever.
No. Titanic.
Titanic.
Oh, Titanic.
No, Leo's not that good.
I still haven't watched all of Inception. I always fall asleep.
Why?
Because I always watch it late,
Hey, isn't that meta as shit? You fall asleep during a movie about dreams?
I guess. You know, the sucky part is I don't get to the part where it talks about it. So I'm just like,
Wait, hold on. At what point do you fall
Did
asleep?
you
I
crush
don't
it?
know.
maybe that's what it's designed to do.
Wait, no. Yeah, I fall asleep right away. I need to watch it again.
You can pay attention to it.
Yeah, that's probably what's going on. Yeah. I don't know. So what was your favorite philosophy topic?
Existentialism.
What was your argument? Or your position?
There's no real argument to it. My position to it is, I guess you could call it romantic. It takes like what you guys are talking about right now is like, what are objective truths? What are things we can see, test, do, present as fact, and kind of go through the argument of it's all based on how you perceive things. And to explain a little bit further, the core concept of existentialism is, as I was telling Burnus earlier, is existence precedes essence. And in English, what that means is you're born before you really take shape mentally. So it's more nurture as opposed to nature.
Oh, okay.
There's no real moral right or wrong because every window is faced with your filters. Everything you perceive as right or wrong is based on how you grew up or how you were raised or what beliefs you randomly started believing in. Whether someone's a immoral person or someone's a stand-up human being is all subjective to the person looking at it.
Yeah.
So it essentially tackles the human condition by explaining the human condition.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
It's really trying to explain how we as humans and we as things that exist experience different things. And I know I'm saying things a lot because it's hard to find a tangible reality within all of this. But it's essentially, if you are a Nazi, Hitler's your leader. I know this is a very morbid way to take this, but you strongly believe in what the bullshit Hitler's selling you. Do you find Hitler's death to be a tragedy or a triumph? Tragedy. Now, we, as citizens of the United States, well born past World War II, and learning it in the history books and learning a lot of after the fact information, what do we see it as? A triumph.
Right.
Back-to-back World War champs right here.
Exactly.
That's what I'm fucking talking
So
America.
that's a very simplified way of looking at it. Who's morally correct? We would argue we are. They would argue they are, because they have their own strong beliefs. And what existentialism tries to do is explain why those differing opinions exist. And tackle them, in a way.
God, we're such a weird species. Just all the things that we do.
Madness.
It is.
Madness.
Yeah, it really essentially goes over.
So what was the number one, like, combatant of that philosophy? Do
Well,
you have, like, a
you
opposing
could-
view?
You could say rationalists, people who believe in rational, logical thought.
Yeah.
If they're coming from a standpoint of death is bad, human death should not be celebrated. Well,
Wait, what?
so think
Why?
back to the Hitler example. We have a Nazi here. Nazi strongly believes in what Hitler's doing, believes the genocide is something that needs to be done. Someone who's logical or a rationalist who holds the belief human life is sacred, there shouldn't be any kind of genocide, all cultures can exist together, we need to advance as a collective species, doesn't agree with it. And so they fundamentally disagree with the premise of the Nazi sympathizer, because they're not thinking rationally, because there's so many other people that could help contribute to the species within the cultures Hitler was trying to destroy.
Sure. Okay.
But what romanticizes it is that it really does take into effect how we perceive things individually. And it's an easy thing to kind of get caught up in, because a lot of things, a core concept of what I'm trying to explain is everything you perceive in the world is your perception.
Yeah.
Everything you do is affected on how you react to it and how you think about it.
Oh no. Now I have to ask you.
What?
Then do you feel that perception is reality?
We'll come back to that.
Ah, all right.
So
I hate that saying.
it's. See, I think we lose my train of thought.
All right, while you're catching it,
It
Yaghat said, "Yo, what up, boy? Listen and watching the Warriors Clippers game. Haha, peace. IND." That's my boy.
so it tries to
Empire Kyle said Avatar. Dude,
pass Titanic or whatever. Who cares? But
Avatar. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
it's it explains a train of thought as how you experience the world, how you react to the world is based on how you grew up in the world and experienced the world. And so a lot of people take that to mean as the world is only affected by how I affect it. Life, therefore, or existence doesn't have a purpose. Because there's no greater train of thought directing anything, there's no higher purpose. Everything I ever do, everything I ever affect, I'm only going to perceive myself. So why move forward?
And that's
Wait, what?
that's the counter thought. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
well, no, it's not actually a counter thought. It's actually like a side bridge. Oh, a lot of people you can think like nihilism and everything like that. What's the point?
But that doesn't describe existentialism, right?
No, it's often confused with it.
Gotcha.
A lot of people read the existentialist texts saying that everything that happens is based on the human condition. What every human does is perceived as what that individual thinks or what that individual does, and it's not going to meaningfully advance anything that's happening. And so that's why they call it existential angst. You don't think you matter in the grand scheme of things.
Well, but it kind of puts more emphasis on the person. to
Exactly.
advance.
That's the correct way to think about it. It's not that you don't matter as an individual. It really puts the onus of you to matter as an individual.
Yeah.
Right. You need to realize that what you do is perceived by you, is taken by you, and is affected by you. Therefore, you need to rise up and do what you think you need to do. There's purpose. A lot of people take that definition to mean, and misguidedly, that there is no purpose. I am just a part of a big human collective. What's the point?
See, if
I
ants
think
thought
the
like
point
that,
is that we're part of a human collective.
Yeah. But see, we don't have this fundamental problem in this room right now where everyone's trying to think that, like, well, no, I think it's all kind of pointless if you think about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it really puts. So it kind of makes you self-reflect
Yeah.
and ask, all right, am I a weight to progression or am I accelerating
Weight.
progression?
No,
Are
you're
you
right.
a way to
You-
progression or a weight?
A weight to progression or am I accelerating it? And I mean, it's to me what the like you got to be like radical and of a certain side to really argue a point that's going to impact society. You can't just be neutral about everything, otherwise you're going to go with the flow.
Right. And a lot of people take it to mean being neutral, and therefore, if I'm always neutral, everything. I'm kind of simplifying their points just to make it short, but a lot of people take that neutrality and like, well, that's just kind of what they think about it. And that's kind of the way I think about it. There's no right or wrong answer here, so what the hell's the point? That's
So
what a
that
lot
is
of
the
people,
way. Oh, but that's not the way you are.
no, that's not the way I am. No, that's what when we were talking about before with people who take it the way
Are
I
those
mean,
the
like, what's the
nihilists?
point? Yes,
Yeah.
they are actually nihilists, not existentialists, and that's where there's confusion.
I think it's. I used to know all this. I forgot all about this stuff. Like
It's-
the labels and stuff.
It's
of
not
what it
really
is.
that important unless you're just
Yeah,
thinking about it up here.
The
Like, I
knowledge
used
piece,
to-
it's more the.
I was
talking.
so into
Yeah.
it back in high school. Especially the difference between perception and reality. That's why I hate that damn saying. Hate that.
Perception is reality.
Ugh, I hate that. It's not. Stop.
It is.
So what would make you say perception is reality?
What would make me think perception is reality? Well, let's focus this back on existentialism. If your perception is of a certain way, why is it not the reality?
Maybe you haven't explored it enough.
You could have not explored it enough.
Reality would be the collective truth of all facts,
What makes that right?
because it would impact your own perception. Like what you thought was right, without that knowledge, if there's more knowledge to be acquired, your perception will change.
Right, but isn't there always more knowledge to be acquired?
Within a certain like system, no.
Really?
I mean, to a point, it gets to the point where more knowledge doesn't impact your thought anymore.
Are you sure?
No.
More knowledge.
Right, he's talking about for certain topics there's only so much to know. Where if you knew any more about said topic, it wouldn't be exponential growth, it would
Yeah,
just be
diminishing.
right, diminishing returns on the growth.
Okay.
See, I feel like you're not following. But
I might
Bronus
be.
and I are on the same page.
I might be following. I don't know how you got there from where
Yeah,
we
dude,
started.
I'm lost back here.
I don't know how you got there from where we started.
Well, perception is reality.
Right.
That's
Not as good.
I led him down a path, we figured it out.
All right. So what? In the end, what was your conclusion?
It's inconclusive. That's where the frustration is.
That's where we got this nihilist view where they're like, what the fuck is the point of this shit?
No,
Why would we even talk about it? Because obviously we're not going to get anywhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
And nihilists are not in.
But you
Totally
can
wrong.
there's a lot where you can influence in your local.
Yeah. But if you're influencing, does that make it a truth?
No, but it
Wait, what
So
truth are you
if it's
talking
not a
about?
truth, why does it have points?
but we're saying that your perception is the truth,
Okay.
and by talking about it, if it influences
Your perception
reality,
may or may not be the truth, though.
Well,
but what I'm saying is,
you're on the same page. You'll get there.
but you were saying what we shouldn't argue the point because it's pointless. We're not going to influence anything.
No, didn't say you're not going to influence
It's just
anything.
a complete waste of time sometimes.
You may say it's a waste of time. Doesn't mean you're not going to influence anyone.
Absolutely.
The point is, what does influencing someone get you?
It gets change, which alters perception,
But-
which then changes reality.
Does that change have intrinsic value?
Hopefully.
To the nihilist, it doesn't.
Okay, so you're arguing the nihilist point right now.
I
Is
flip
that-
sides.
Okay. Are you a nihilist?
No.
Okay.
It's always
I
good
feel
to
like
provoke thought, though.
Sometimes I am.
Yeah, it's better to just take a position.
Yeah, I'll take a counter position to whatever you're saying, just to
I
progress
don't
the
know
thought.
the existentialist position like well enough to know when you're changing from position to position.
Yeah.
Trying to gauge the real you. And
Good
you're
luck.
arguing all these different points, and it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. You can thank the philosophy teachers for instilling that in me. But
Yeah, I feel, sometimes while being, even sometimes in class, I'll get into a little discussion with people and just start taking a side.
Right.
Just because we're having a good discussion. But then I don't want people to think that I necessarily think that.
Yeah.
No matter what.
You always run that
I
risk.
always
though.
try to be
You
neutral.
always run that risk. Like I just ran the risk with Bronus, and he just point blank asked me, "He's like, do you believe that?"
Yeah. I always
It's like
Like,
a
I
lot of
always
playing
try to-
devil's advocate.
I always try to argue the counterpoint in closing. To throw in a couple counterpoints. Usually I'm just
Kinda
trying to
tricky.
make
And why do you do it?
to
Because
make
it
a joke.
provokes thought.
It's mostly for a joke.
Yeah, you say joke, but the joke still provokes thought, does it not?
And
Oh,
it
yeah.
provokes like reality, like the true
Now hold on.
human
Let's tie
response.
this up in a neat little bow here.
Maybe,
it provokes
yeah.
thought. What does philosophy mean?
Oh yeah, love of knowledge.
Provoking thought.
We're all philosophers.
Oh, all?
In those instances where we provoke thought.
There you go.
Oh, well, no wonder philosophers aren't in demand.
Yeah, right.
great.
Why do you think I just showed up and signed up for the minor?
Philosophy. Those are dope, huh? Sriracha peas. Too bad I can't say this show brought to you by
Sponsored by.
Sriracha peas. Awesome.
Well, you just
Need
did.
I say more?
Yeah, you might as well get a kickback now. You should just go ahead and send the podcast off to
They
them.
won't. Maybe they will. Maybe because I could say, look, I have four viewers. 4 viewers are now
A very
potentially
passionate base.
going to get sriracha peas because they are scrumptious, but a little hot.
It's like 4,000 people.
They're sort of garlicky too. A little too garlicky if you ask
Oh,
me.
they're delish.
They are good, aren't they?
Super delish.
Yeah. Put some on some rice. Try that out.
I'm about to do that. Search for you
That's
guys.
awesome. Sriracha peas on rice. Another recipe, courtesy of the boy.
What was your
Actually
last
made
recipe?
up by Danny. What was that?
What was your last recipe?
It started today, son. There's always the inaugural. I don't have special music for it, or like a picture. I know, my show's sort of lame.
Why is
Thank
it
you.
lame?
Thank you guys for being on the show and for listening to the show out there in the world. Not to say that you're on the lame show, I guess.
No, you definitely just did say
sort of
that.
are on the lame
Totally
show.
just said it, yeah.
Because other than listening to us, it's not that entertaining. You know what I mean?
How do you know it wasn't entertaining?
I don't.
Yeah, that makes us feel real good about having a 45-minute conversation with you this so far.
Right?
Sorry, viewers out there, but I will leave you with this: you are very special because
Are there?
there's only 4 of you that are actually on the live show in the world. Think about that. That's pretty damn unique.
Yeah, unique's a word for it.
Yeah, 4 in the whole Earth.
How many
If
people
you
are on the
weren't
planet?
special before,
7 billion,
you're
or is it
special
8
now.
billion? 8
We're probably
billion
up to like
people.
8 by now.
Oh, here comes the technology. 8 billion. 4 out of 8 billion.
What's the world's population?
You're very rare.
Siri will tell us. Anyway, that's why.
7.13 billion.
What? 7?
You're close.
0.13.
Alright.
Give or take
Off
some
5
millions.
billion. We just lost one person now.
Wonder whose fault that was.
Probably mine.
Yeah.
Probably mine. Well, no one
Trashing
taught me
your
how
own
to run a
show.
show. I mean, nobody showed me that I could crash into a canyon. A language canyon. Anyway, that's pretty cool, man. What was your most recent philosophical argument outside of here?
Outside of here,
Did we even really get in a good argument?
I thought
not on one topic, no.
Oh, sort of on the vegetarian thing.
No, you kind of just like gave the example and let it go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, no, you argued a little bit.
No, it was for the sake of the brevity of the show, but yeah, there's a little bit of argument. There's no substance, really, though.
Huh.
Those 2 walls hitting each other.
Yeah, I could feel that a little bit.
So then the nihilist would be like, so we just wasted a whole bunch of time when we could have been doing
He's totally stuck on this nihilist thing.
But you could say that about anything.
Exactly.
it, right?
You grasp the concept
You just sitting
completely.
there eating that rice for what? Just so you go poop it out. Pointless.
Do you really matter in the end? Don't go to bed thinking that at night. It'll be terrible for you.
Are you alright, man?
Yeah, those sriracha peas are really fucking hot.
How many do you eat?
They're so good though. They're salty and they're like.
Yeah, they are. Sriracha peas, courtesy of the Oriental Market. Jack's Oriental. That's another plug for free.
The Oriental Market's so weird if you've never been there.
Oh, I took Danny there for the
So
first
weird.
time.
Only white guy.
The introduction
walking
to
around.
the Oriental Market. Dude, I grew up going to the fucking Oriental Market.
You will
It smells
never-
the same as when I was a kid.
You will never.
What does it smell like?
There's
Is that good
never
or
a
bad?
more like distinct smell than an Oriental Market. Like once you go into one,
you'll know what that smell is for the rest of your life because it's not like anything else. It really isn't.
It's
Is it
true.
like
It's pretty true.
seaweed?
Like you can't
You
tell
know.
what it is because there's
Really?
like it's everywhere.
You grasp on seaweed is the first thing in the
Have you
Oriental
ever
market.
been to Oriental Market?
No.
Oh, yeah, I'll take you someday. Whenever you want.
You can answer his
Okay.
question though. He said seaweed.
What about seaweed?
What's it smell like?
What's it smell
You
like?
don't get it, do you?
Whoa. Oh, goodness.
Alright. We're not gonna start over.
Catastrophe. Oh, Anna's in trouble. Something happened.
It's just in here. I don't know what.
Isn't that crazy? That little tiny cat
I know.
picks on a 90-pound dog.
I don't
Picks
get
on
it.
Nietzsche?
Yeah, she chases him around and like swats at him. I think she's jealous of him.
Nike's like the sweetest dog ever.
And Nika just looks at her, just like, what are you doing? Go away. He doesn't even bark at her or anything. Yeah. Crazy.
Sorry, viewers.
Oh, it's alright. Oh man, I was gonna ask you something about.
What's up?
But then Danny said something about something, and I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Dang it. Alright, anyway. What was it? Oh man, it's gonna bother me now. Wait, what did you say your latest argument was?
I didn't have an answer. You
Oh
went on
yeah,
a tangent
then I
before
went
you.
on a tangent. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, it's a good thing we did because I can't really think of the latest philosophical argument I've had. I don't surround myself with those type of people
Who?
Why not?
because they're annoying.
Like who? Wait,
I don't have a specific name.
But what's those type of people?
like that's not what I meant. Like specific people. Wait, I didn't say like who did I? I don't think I did.
You said who.
Rewind tape. Later. I don't want to mess with this.
You know what? Let's just sum it up the South Park way. People
South
who
Park?
enjoy the smell of their own farts.
Wait, that was a South Park reference? I can totally nail a South Park reference. What we got? One more time.
People who are so smug they enjoy the smell of their own farts.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Gotcha. George Clooney.
Boom.
Do you think he
What was
does?
he? His Grammy Award winning speech? Is that what it was?
Yeah, the Prius.
Yeah.
Jeez.
About
Nailed
how actors took on AIDS? Yeah. He's definitely smelling his own asshole.
Good. He called that.
Oh, good. And
It's
that's
just
why
a
you don't
chore to be friends with them and talk to them because a lot of them like to like turn that argument thing over on you and like you know what's happening and so you're just like shut up, quit talking.
Because you just feel like it's not.
It's an
worth
exercise
it.
in futility. You're gonna keep asking me questions when I just want to progress the friendly conversation. Go fuck yourself.
That might be kind of nihilist.
It might, yeah, no, you're right. You have a valid point.
That's the callback to
That
that.
nihilist approach.
I think he is a nihilist. Not kind of. I think he is.
Who are you talking about? This a particular person?
Right behind us.
Oh, Danny?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think he is. Not in real life. He just
Not
picked
in
up
real
on the
life.
pattern.
I'm just obnoxious.
He's good with the
That's what I
pattern.
am.
He got it. As
No,
a
man, I think you're
nihilist,
onto
you take the who gives a shit sort of attitude.
No, I'm all about digging in, but there's a lot of times that I'm like, dude, there's like,
Who really gives a shit?
yeah.
But Danny gives a
Anything
shit
is just
though.
as
Danny
anything
gives
is
a
just as possible as
By,
You give a shit,
by
though.
virtue of him talking about who gives a shit, he does give a shit.
He does give a shit.
How them apples?
3 more people give a shit.
right.
Oh yeah.
Still.
Thanks. I know, we had 4.
You lost that one. That's on you. You started calling it like a crappy show, bid show. Like,
I don't think he said that.
What was that?
Way to hate on your own show on the show that you're doing.
right. It's not even like in
I
an
mean,
interview or
listen,
anything like
listen, Nike's drinking. Got a drinking game.
Oh,
Drink it up. Till he stops.
no. Silly stop.
Hopefully you're not drinking whiskey. Or pretty much anything. He's still drinking.
Oh my god.
that. Thirst
Drinking
cannot be
whiskey like
quenched.
that.
I don't think he really takes up any water for every lap. It's like drops of water.
It's a highly inefficient process.
It is. You just splash and shoot around. I even saw the slow-mo on National Geographic. I'm like, I don't think that's happening. Nika, you're doing
It's
it
not
wrong.
very effective.
Watch
Why
this
don't you
show.
do that? Why don't you grow opposable thumbs and just drink it from
Watch
a
this
glass?
show. You're doing it wrong.
She's
No wonder you drink so
slapping the
much.
tongue onto the bowl.
Crazy.
I have
Crazy
thumbs.
guy.
Why don't you?
He's
Piece
part
of
of the
shit.
show, man. He's clacking and he's drinking and he's chomping and
Here's absolutely part of the show.
yeah. It just happens. It just happens, man.
As we all should be. Off the philosophy thing, nothing else part, but
Wait, what?
that's good. We live in America. America.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with
I
that.
think that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
If we didn't, we may not be able to talk like this.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would pick somewhere else if I could go back. I'd rather grow up here.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm all right.
We have a high concentration of alien sightings.
I'm
Burroughs is good.
real fine
Yeah,
with
good.
whatever I am.
Cameras are getting better and better.
This is it. Nothing else I could do about it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I thought it was a good conversation, guys. What time is it? It's about that time.
It is about that time.
1 hour podcast, wrapping it up. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. You've caught another episode of The Boy. Actually, let me tell you about this track that was on tonight. It's a pretty cool track. Hey, do you remember who it was? It was Arrow Chord. The song's called Surface. You should check it out on SoundCloud. I'm going to post a link. Everyone can go check that out. Arrow Chord, Surface, in The Boy.